If I didn't mention this before, I'll say it now. A lot of our questions came in from our viewers. They submitted them, and this is one of them. The Supreme Court's decision this year on Roe v. Wade was, of course, big national news. Juanita from Lincoln, she asked, what specific restrictions do you support for abortion, and do you support restrictions on birth control? And Congressman Flood, you go first.
Well, thank you very much, Rod. As a member of the legislature in 2011, I introduced and passed the nation's first 20-week abortion restrictions. I believe in common sense abortion restrictions. I believe that when we work together, I was able to get a bipartisan bill passed with 44 out of the 49 state senators in the Nebraska legislature, and it's never been challenged. Today, this is the standard that we're talking about around the United States. I also want to make it clear that I have always believed that life begins at conception. That is a personal belief that means a lot to me. But as we look at creating and crafting a policy for the state of Nebraska, I would say that we have to be open, and I would support an exception, obviously, for the life and the health of the mother, which I have always supported, but also in cases of rape and incest. I think we have to, as Americans, look at what we can accomplish with reasonable abortion restrictions in the United States. There are countries around the world that do not allow abortions after 20 weeks. My opponent's position on this issue is extreme. She favors taxpayer-funded abortions, dismemberment abortions, late-term abortions, abortions up until the hour of birth. That's extreme, and that's not where Nebraskans are. That's not where Americans are. That is out of bounds. And so as a member of Congress, I feel that we should have reasonable, common sense abortion regulations, and I am not against birth control. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much.
Senator, you have 2 minutes.
Well, this is all a new tune to me because he voted against birth control, and he continues to bring up the 2011 work and conveniently forgets 2022, this past year, when he co-sponsored one of the most draconian bills against abortion. It did not provide for an exception for rape or incest. He knows that. He has voted against birth control. So this is all just, again, a flood alert. I want to tell you that he continues to misstate my views. I have never said abortion at any time. What I believe in is basically what Roe set forth. The age of viability balanced against the health of the mother. That's what Roe stated. So that has been understood in our country as around 20 weeks. And if the life of the mother at 30 weeks is at risk, then decisions have to be made. And we as women should not have my opponent making these decisions about what will happen to our health care, our bodily autonomy, and how we will move forward. And which is it? Which Mike Flood do we have right now? The one that believes in birth control or doesn't believe in birth control? The one that believes in not allowing birth control or not allowing an abortion for rape and incest, or the one that just said he does believe in that? So it's very confusing. He's not voted that way in any of his votes in Congress to date. And so it's quite clear to me and to other Americans who care about reproductive rights that he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. You cannot trust what he is saying right now because he's spoken both ways. And which is it?
I think this is probably one of those, that because it's such a hot topic and emotional, give you each 30 seconds.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the birth control issue. There was a bill in Congress that specifically had several different topics in it, one of which was birth control. But it basically said that if you were a doctor, you had a statutory obligation to prescribe birth control, and if you didn't, it would create a private cause of action against the doctor. I don't believe the government should force doctors against even their medical judgment or their religious beliefs to prescribe birth control. That's what she's talking about. In the Nebraska legislature, in fact, just 2 years ago, I voted on a bill that would allow women to get not just 1 month of birth control, but 6 months of birth control when they were prescribed it by their doctors. I'm not against birth control. And so I don't want to overrun my time. I have plenty more to say here. She has misstated my position on that.
And Senator, you get the last 30 seconds on this subject.
Thank you. And he also voted to go after doctors who perform abortions and made it so that people can't cross state lines to go get health care. And so we all know about people going to the Mayo Clinic for second opinions. And this is egregious, it's wrong, it's draconian, and we must rise up and say no more. These men are not in control of our bodies and our reproductive rights.